Everyone, how y'all doing? Welcome to another Watching a Demo, Having a Beer, where I talk about a random craft beer that I've been drinking and the demos in production that the beer somehow, vaguely, remotely, subjectively reminds me of. So a beer that I had stashed around here for a while, but that was quite good when I first sampled it, is this one. Tripel a Moda do Porto FTS brewery. It's a Portuguese brewery and it's a Belgian triple but made with an oporto flavor. It has quite a few different fruits in it, apricot, muscatel grape, and it also been in French oak in a port wine casket. So it has a lot of fruity flavors in it, and also a tinge of Porto, of port wine. The name comes from a famous food in Porto, which is tripas à moda do Porto, which means tripes in the way of Porto, and this came from during the Napoleonic when Napoleon decided to send a general to Portugal to conquer Portugal. We were under French rule for a while, and during that time the French wanted all the good food for themselves, and the rest of the population was left to starve. So in Porto they developed this dish made especially from the inner stomach of the cow, which the French people didn't eat, but we had a lot of leftovers of, so they decided to start doing this kind of dish and finessing it so that it's actually eatable. And it's very traditional in Porto to have this dish, tripes in the way of Porto. So this is they decided to call it tripel instead of tripes, and made a pun out of that. But it's a very sweet beer and it's very good. I usually like Belgian beers, so triples in particular, so this was pretty good. My usual problem with triples is that they sometimes give me a headache, but I do enjoy the sweetness behind a strong beer. This one was very fruity, as I mentioned, so it was quite good. I do recommend it. FTS is a Portuguese brewery, as I mentioned before, so yeah, check it out if you can find it. Highly recommend it. So demoscene production that this beer somehow reminds me of. So I was thinking of something related to the French people, since this is a spin on Tripas à Moda do Porto. We did cover a few French demos from Melon Group, and if I wanted to get back at the French like the Portuguese did to Napoleon, to the Napoleon general that was ruling Portugal, we should go to war with them and pick a production from Lemon instead, which is not French, but they were very big rivals of Melon, doing some back and forth releases and ripping the name a little bit, having the whole fruit thing, and being a fruity beer that also links back to having a fruity demoscene production somehow vaguely related of. So for those who don't know, on the early Amiga days, I'm talking early 90s, Melon was a very big, famous group, very stylish sort of intros. They mostly became famous for their releases with Crystal. They spin off from Anarchy, I believe, which was this very big mega group that existed before. And I think some members from Lemon also originated from Anarchy at some point. Lemon sort of stole their style in a little bit, but it's not exactly the same, but somehow similar. And they also made some very famous productions, and the group started flaming each other on the writings that were in the demo. So these fruit battles were really famous in the early 90s on the Amiga demo scene. Many years later, there was Lemon came back to activity. I think the first return to activity was in 2013. The original crew making new stuff again, and I wanted to pick one of those newer entries, specifically Lemonade, which was released at Deadline 2018. Got first place on the old school demo competition, and I picked this one in particular because it has a very fruity name to it, Lemonade. It feels like you're drinking lemonade, and lemonade is usually sweet. It's not exactly Belgian beer, but you know, it's as close as it gets. So yeah, great graphics by Mage, code by Dan and Soundy, music by Virgil, and graphics also by Facet of Lemon. Anyways, please enjoy the demo. See you next video. Bye bye everyone. Take care.